Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Brace for Impact. It's episode 37, technically part 2, but that's you'll
Part
see
two?
that in the end of year highlights
Oh god.
because of the countdown I just botched.
Yeah. Well, we're fine. We're doing
Yeah,
all right.
no, but it's great to have you along, and we got a lot to cover. We do have a lot to cover, right? Because it's the start of basically the Impact. I don't want to say season, but the whole
The impact cycle.
process.
The impact cycle.
Yeah, cycle is the perfect word. And not only that, but there was a lot of news that took place beforehand, right? So we have to cover the news, and then we also have to cover the results itself. So we're going to start with the news this week because obviously it leads into what
Everything
we're going to
else.
be discussing, right? Exactly. So let's start with the smallest piece of news. We actually talked about it on the last episode about
Yeah.
Giuliano and Chiozza. They were listed on the ESA roster, and it's actually like official now that
Yes.
Big have announced it that they are part of the Big organization. So congrats to them for getting signed. First off, fantastic stuff. But yes, Giuliano Chiozza is official on Big. I don't think we need to cover it any much more time. We kind of talked about it last week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick on right to the next piece of news, by the way, which is a big one. Anna X in Brazil is a free agent. I'm actually really shocked by this news. Now, I don't know why Fury has gone this direction. Like, they qualified for Serie A with her in the lineup, right? They look really good. I would say, honestly, Parks, they won, by the way, they won Masters Feminine 8 with her in the lineup.
Yep.
So I would say, Parks, this is probably the best Furia have looked since season 1, season 2,
Right.
with her in the lineup. I would say Furia the favorites in Brazil right now. Remember, they only get one spot in season 5 because
Yes.
ESL insist on this absolute dog format. But it's these things where, like, if I'm a Fluxo fan, which I am, I'm worried because Furia looked really strong with her. Now the strongest piece that they had brought in is now gone. It's free agent, and I don't know what this is. I know there's a little bit of speculation that it could be Olga coming back to Furia at some point in time. She's not said it herself. She's not going to. She's very firmly an HSG player right now. But obviously, with Asia losing the spot after season 5, that's a question. I don't know why this move happens before season 5. And certainly, Olga would be a good fit in the Fury side, obviously having played on there before. But it's still the fact that Fury achieved something they didn't achieve with Olga in the lineup. Not saying they wouldn't if she was back in the lineup, but still. And, this is something that I think is a bit of a surprise. I mean, this is probably the biggest free agent that could have hit the market in Brazil has hit the market, and I'm really flabbergasted by why this has happened.
Multitude of reasons. I don't think Jenny will ever actually really get an answer, but I guess it's one of those things of just we'll wait and see where she lands next, because it's one of those things that roster lock is coming up, season start and everything, and like, luckily because Fury auto qualified, like she is able to go to another team. There's no like she played in a qualifier or whatever. Maybe she did. I didn't actually check. But
she did no Furia have auto qualified, so she's good. She don't
even under a new roster or anything, tried to qualify, like she gets stuck essentially. No, like you said, it'll be interesting to see where she goes. So if she plays for a team in the qualifiers to get into season 5,
yeah, but she didn't.
She didn't. Okay, there you go.
No,
I didn't know
because
if
she was auto qualified with Furia. So.
Right. But she could have said, okay, well,
Oh,
I'm
I
not in
see.
the organization
Because
anymore,
of the
so I've
roster
already...
drop, she could have played.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward with other ones, then other announcements. So it's a lot of roster announcements. That's why we're going through it first, of course. ENCE Athena have announced Ada. I want to say Ada.
I think.
Ida. From I think she last played for
Big
Big
Equipa.
Equipa. Yeah, so
yeah,
a little bit of movement there, I guess, coming through. That's an interesting signing. I mean, ENCE are... let me pull up the European division here. Hold on, sorry. I had it on the right. I had it right in the right space. I just not. So it's Milo Valde. Walde. I don't know if it's the W.
I
think
think Walde's right.
Walde. Gia Emsan and Ida. So looking like an interesting roster, and they qualified through qualifier number 1. So they've proven that they can beat the gauntlet to get there. More on that, I guess, a little bit later. But hey, they're in for season 5, so only ups from there, I guess. As well, going back and forth between Europe and Brazil here. Divina announced their new roster. So
Yes.
they initially had a spot in season 5. They
Yep.
were forced to forfeit it because the roster that was playing was not the same at all to
Yeah. It's
to what they were
I
actually
think they
playing.
ran out. I think the contracts expired and the team just
More than likely.
completely spit up. Yeah.
But they have a new roster now, and that consists of Brenda, uh, Arkham.
Am I need to step in? You need
Yes,
me to
please
step
step
in?
in.
Okay. So Brendina, Armcom, Uliana, and Nami and China, right? So
Right.
China obviously played with MIBR. Uliana, I want to say is previously was with W7M. I know Nami certainly was. Armcom, I believe was with W7M. Might have been actually part of the old Davina side as well. And I think Brendina's just basically been pretty much like a free agent. So it's a big mashup of like former teams. Like all of these players basically, I maybe with the exception of Brendina, would have been in previous seasons of Impact, right? Like all of them. And if you've been watching or you paid attention or anything to Gamers Club, then you would have known Brendina as well, right? From a lot of pug teams around there and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting side. I like some of the the potential is there. China's really good. Like Nami was one of the better players on that old W7M side, and like obviously Uliana as well. Armcom has kind of been in the conversation, so it's going to be one of these things where like, what is the potential for this Davina side, right? Like, remember they finished third at the last season, almost finished second. But like, is that a height they can reach again? I don't think so with this lineup.
Yeah.
But is it also a lineup that avoids relegation? Potentially. Like potentially this lineup is good enough to do so. So we'll see. A lot of these players are really young as well. I think that's the other thing. I'm really interested in watching the development of kind of Nami's, particularly because she's I think she's only like 18 or 19. So it's one of these things where it's like, what? I think she's 19 actually. So it's like, what is the trajectory for her? And is this something where she gets kicked around at a few of these teams? Not kicked around is probably the wrong word. So forgive me for saying, but you know what I mean. You get bounced around because rosters die.
No, you get violently kicked.
Orgs come in and pick up and drop. Like,
just
you know what I
violently
mean. You
kick
get
them
bounced.
around.
Yeah, it's a kickabout. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like advanced, right? NA advanced in that sense.
That's
and
basically the
you
easiest
look at
comparative to all of these things is NA advanced. They're just kind of pick and
yeah,
choose,
right.
go between.
But there's two levels in Brazil. Like Brazil has this really weird dichotomy within the women's scene that's like that. It's Furia and Fluxo and MIBR, and then everybody else is like that NA advanced where orcs come in, they die out.
Yeah.
Rosters constantly shuffle around.
Right.
Like, so is this one of these things where she's going to get shuffled around for another year or two, and then she progresses, and a team like MIBR takes a look at her? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like more curious as to what this lineup does coming up in this season.
You're right. It'll be interesting. Moving forward then, D7 joining Guild, another ex MIBR Akipa player. She's made her way over to Guild, already qualified through for the next season. I believe they went through in qualifier number.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't
Parks.
care about spoiling it. We'll get to there. We're getting there anyways.
Yeah,
so, you gotta set expectations. Yeah. So so D7 again joining the lineup. They do well in the first qualifier. So first reaction is it's going all right. This is a good move for them so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Guild were like not competitive last season.
No.
And now you look at what this has done in terms of the early results, which we'll get into in more detail. But
Yeah.
and now I'm like, okay, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
They looked pretty solid.
All right.
So
Cool. Moving forward then. The big piece of news, the big double piece of news, I guess, coming through. So, Enigma Galaxy, we've known for a few weeks now. Husky made the announcement, hey guys, in 2 weeks' time, on the 15th, we are out of contract with Nigma, and also Vilga is gone. Well, we know who they replaced. They replaced Vilga with Zaz,
Yep.
and I expected them to have an org like immediately. I thought it was gonna be a big thing.
Yeah, or at least an announcement like from
Something.
Nigma themselves, like,
Yeah,
oh,
there was nothing
4
from
years,
Nigma.
thanks for the memory. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there
Are they?
was Husky. There was Husky
Yeah,
saying, "Hey guys,
exactly.
we're out of contract, so if you want to send any orgs our way, please let us know."
Does that make Nigma like the EU EG?
Yeah,
Like, are they EG in
but
disguise?
but I don't want to attribute success to EG as a brand.
That's
Like
fair.
that's
That's
the
fair.
only like.
That's really fair.
Listen, they had a really good run in Valorant. I'm happy that they did so well, mostly because Calm was on the team and Ethan and like a few of the like Calm and Ethan
Potter,
specifically and
the
Potter.
goat.
Those were the three that I
Absolute
was
goat.
really cheering for. Was because Ethan needed something after CS. Calm had been like kicked about by a bunch of different organizations where he just like for some reason he didn't fit or like they just went with another choice. And I was like, my boy needs something for that. He's always got something to prove. And then Potter, of course, the greatest to ever do it. In any sport she goes to. So, yeah, Nigma not announcing is very funny, and continually not saying anything is just kind of like, I guess they just kind of were like, well, everybody saw his tweet, so we don't even need to tweet. But at the same time, it's like, come on, guys, at least like say something.
So let me. I have a preposition for you, Parks. Right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, no, February 14th is Valentine's Day, or was Valentine's Day, right? Enigma's gift was to release the team and make them all free agents. What a lovely gift. But you know what March 14th is?
March Madness?
Okay, it's a half decent shout.
Okay.
No, in Korea, it's called White Day, which is everybody that gets a gift on Valentine's Day gives a return gift on the 14th. It's called White Day. So maybe Nigma's or ex-Nigma Galaxy's gift on is coming March 14th. It's going to be a new org.
The season will already have started, though.
Does it?
Yeah, I thought it starts like March 5th.
Does it?
Does it not? I thought it's coming
Oh,
up.
you might be right. It might start March 5th. Yeah, it does. Okay.
That'd be a...
Can you let me write my narrative?
Write your narrative. I'm going to prove it wrong. Sorry.
There's actually something too, by the way, called Black Day, which is another month afterwards. And it's when all the people that didn't. No, it's when all the people that didn't get gifts on February or March 14th then get together and hang out together.
What happens if between March and like February and March you break up? Like, do you just like they come back to you like, hey, I know we just broke up like 2 weeks ago.
You come back next year, mate.
No,
you come back next year.
They come back, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I know we broke up 2 weeks ago. I already bought you this. Here you go. Have a good rest of your life. That's
evil.
Yeah.
You're evil for
even thinking that. You see them again the next month because you go out to Black Day and you're like, oh, hi. Anyways. Final two pieces of news then. Vilga joined the X9 Pandas Fearless course. So we saw a bit of changing up with this one.
Yes.
The first kind of domino to fall was Fatal. She left other pastures. I think she was playing with teams at one point. I don't remember if that held.
She subbed in for one Cash Cup. She played with like, was it Vlansburg?
I have no idea.
Some other Russian players, non-signed Russian players. I think Vlansburg was on the side that she was playing with in the qualifier. But yeah, it's the main core like Shu and
Shu,
Taddy and all
Victoria is the core.
Yep.
The other pickup that comes with this is Krasi. She used to play for G2. At least that's the jersey. That's literally the jersey I see in the photo.
Yeah, and she was part of Giuliano's old team.
So
that won like DreamHack Valencia.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure like now 4 of the 5 players from because Ramzan's also found a home, hasn't she?
Yeah. Didn't she get picked up by?
I have a feeling she got picked up by like Astralis or something.
No, I thought it was. I thought it was Guild.
No, it wasn't Guild.
Is it not Guild?
It wasn't Guild. Unless they just haven't
So
updated their thing. Anyways, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure she's been
Oh,
picked up by some.
the other point of note here, by the way, is that Vilga's actually played with Krasi before. Back before
Right.
they were signed to Enigma Galaxy,
Right.
they were just called Assassins. And
Okay.
they went to Gamer Girl Pro Festival in Abu Dhabi, and she was on that lineup. She was on the original Galaxy Racer lineup that organization then rebranded to Enigma Galaxy.
Right.
So she's played with Vilga before. They go back a little bit. So yeah, this is not new for
them.
Vilga in terms of that. Plus, you have a really solid core that they competed against back in like 2020 in all the Ambush seasonal cups when they were No Fear 5. So these players know each other very well.
I completely forgot that this entire lineup is still Russian. I just forget about that. That like Vilga is Russian. I forget about that just
Yep.
because like I always associate her
And she lives in Estonia. Like it's like
yeah,
she's not. You know what I mean? Like
they're not in Russia, but like
yeah.
but I think they were playing in like Finland or something under 9 pins. Anyways, so that's the 5. So that we see Vilga land on her feet, and basically all the G2 players at this point have landed on their feet as well. So that was another roster that like has basically once the org dropped them, they were sold off for parts and everything to other, or they took offers individually for other places. That's kind of how it works. So cool to see that the G2 squad kind of landed on their feet in a way, not together, but they landed on their feet. So, the final piece of news in terms of roster change reports is Rachel and Sunside joining Gamer Legion Prism.
Yeah.
We always knew that Gamer Legion Prism coming into the season have to do a bit of a change. They managed to survive relegation last season around, so they had a free buy into this basically. And the whole thing was they needed to retool their roster after Manaskyne and
It's been so long.
it's been so long. Yeah,
Somebody else. Manaskyne and somebody else.
Hold on, I can check. Manaskyne. Oh, it's Kitty. The Irish
Oh
player.
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, that's the Troubles, as it were. That's a good reference. So listen, they're good player. Both players are very good. That's why Gamer Legion looked at them. A lot of work for Gamer Legion Prism to do, of course, because again, there's always relegation on the way as well. Though each group now has 2 confirmed. You go to the finals slots. It's no longer a playoff. So
yeah,
if Gamer Legion kind of move the needle a bit more, especially with G2 no longer kind of in their way, and not necessarily a weaker field below them, but they've had time to gel in Impact now, at least the core, so they kind of have an understanding of the expectation. With some teams, like with a lot of roster changes throughout, it's a lot has changed, but a lot has also stayed the same. If that makes sense. You're muted. Yo.
Sorry, I said yeah, it does. Sorry. We did 2 whole episodes like that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think I'm trying to look at where I don't know. I was trying to find the old roster for Ramsden because you got me curious, but now it's like it's dead and buried. I can't remember where it went.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think the interesting thing to note, what I want to say, Sunside, I always want to say Sunnyside, but it's not Sunside.
Yeah.
Ukrainian player has been playing consistently. You never really seen her in any of the big names, but she does compete. And Rachel's been in the scene for a while. Very much an older player coming in terms of not age, but in terms of just experience, right? And playing insides and competing in tournaments well before the Impact scene was even around. So I like the experience they get with Rachel. I like what they get with Sunside. I still think this team is really missing a lot of pieces because, like you said, they survived last season. I think a lot of that was because before the departure of Manaskyne, they were like 2-1. So really, the heavy lifting in terms of the wins they got up front. So, and then you could see as they had to like have 2 stand-ins and whatnot, they kind of slipped further down the table. Now I'm like, you look at a revamped, guild. You look at a revamped, in terms of G2 or not G2. Where's Giuliano at now? We just went over this. Oh, Big. You look
Big.
at a revamp Big. You look at, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
what is Gamer Legion going to be competitive with these sides again? It's a
Time will tell.
worry if that's the case. I don't think they will be, but
We'll see.
we'll have to wait and see.
That's the way it goes. We'll have to wait and see. Speaking about waiting and seeing, let's not wait any longer. Got qualifiers to get through, my good sir. We got 2 qualifiers and a decider for each one. We'll only focus on the EU decider because that's the only one that really matters in this case.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll come back to SA ones if they actually do matter. Speaking of EU, then we've already talked a little bit about some of the teams that have qualified, so let's go there first. Let's change it up a little bit. EU first, and qualifier number uno. One. Waiting for my page to load. You keep muted, my man. Benny, you're muted.
This was a big. Sorry, this was a big tournament, man. This was a big. Like, I'm trying to look over just how many people were in this tournament. Like, it was just really.
Wikipedia says 38.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of names in here. VP were in here. Snowguard, Forza, Vanity, the new side we talked about last week. Incilio's been around a while. They, Spirit, all of them in there. Where do you even want to begin, Parks? You want to begin with the round of 32 or round of 64?
I mean, I've got the quarterfinals and the semifinals on the Wikipedia page. I think that's kind of. Okay. I don't know. We can make.
I linked you the face bracket.
I know you linked me. I know you linked me the bracket. I also know there's a lot of teams to cover, and we only have so much time.
So let me go over the early rounds. I'll let you take the later ones. So early rounds, VP had bye. They faced really pug teams. Snowguard got through, right, as well to the I believe that's the round of 16. And that's where they both had to meet. VP took care of them 2-0. Forza had to face a team called More Whiskey, which was interesting. This was V-Spell, Hikomi, Turbo X Girl. So, names that we've seen be competitive in previous Cash Cups, and Forza actually fumbled it away 2-1. So, and then More Whiskey went on to actually beat VP. So, but Ents came in pretty strong. They didn't really have a lot of opposition, and Silio bowed out in the early rounds like they usually do in their Cash Cups. Astronauts is a name that we saw in a lot of Cash Cups, right? They got 2-1 by a side called Nemesis, which included... Yes, Lolita. Yes, Lolita and Julie as well on that side. So... interestingly enough, Spirit got through to the quarterfinals. A nice pug team that's really played hard called Violet, which had Jody and Emma and Sly J and Pico M's on it. They fell to question mark, which is Missy. Remember Missy, formerly of Ents. Astra on that team as well, by the way. Oxyset, former NIP or former Ents player as well, I believe.
Look who's coaching.
Spike from Astralis on that team.
Look who's coaching.
So question. What?
Amir's is coaching question mark.
Yeah. So Amir's coaching question mark. Yeah. Has coached a lot of those players before, by the way. But they got by Violet for the quarterfinals. Astralis got through, and of course Guild beat Partisan Red. On to the quarters, Parks.
On the quarters. Having a hard time there. Okay, so leaves top 8 then. VP Angels, a team called More Whiskey, Ents Athena, Nemesis, Spirit, question mark, Astralis Women, and Guild Esports. Walking through this, that VP Angels struggled. They lost 2 More Whiskey. Ents Athena ended up 2-1ing Nemesis, which was close. It was a 13-7, 13-11, 12. Nemesis won the second map 13-11 and got to OT on the third. They did not get by all. Spirit then going up against question mark. It was 13-3-7, and then Astralis Women against Guild. Bit more of a closer run there. 13-7 on the first map for Guild. Second map 22-19 for Astralis. Barn burner on that one on Overpass, of course. Where else would it go? And then Anubis 13-9 for Guild. That left it More Whiskey and Ents Athena and Spirit and Guild. and in this case, Ents won 1-2-0, and Guild won a 2-1. Not really close maps on either of these. It was just kind of whoever's map pick it was, or what have you. They took it. So the new look Ents Athena and the new look Guild take qualifier number 1.
On to qualifier number 2.
Yeah.
Same number of rounds.
34 teams. So
Right, obviously a little bit less. So same.
More
Oddly
buys,
enough, like Insalio and VP were also in the upper side of the bracket here. They didn't meet. Insalio bowed out.
Yeah.
In the round of 32. Beg your pardon.
Right.
Question mark again was there. They ran all the way through to the quarterfinals. They beat W Waves. You remember them from previous Cash Cups, right?
Right.
Vanity as well that we talked about last week being signed. Forza managed to get by Snowguard in the round of 16. I don't think there's anything really out of the ordinary here. The big round of 16 matchup was Nemesis and Astronauts.
Yeah.
With this one. So Astronauts is Zonix and Hellrose's team.
Right.
Very, very, very veteran players on that side. They went up against, again, Julie's team with Lolita, and it was Nemesis that got by 2-0 in that one. So you move on to the rest of the round of 16. Spirit got by Vision. More Whiskey was there again. They managed to get into the quarterfinals. Astralis did beat a Pug team, and then Violet fell a map short of getting to the quarterfinals, losing to a team called 5 Bites, which is Melrose, Dash Q, Cold Hurt. So other veteran players, by the way, on that side.
Presence.
Yeah, and that leads us to, again, the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and so again, coming in, VP going up against Question Mark. This time they would not be stopped 13-4, 13-6. They booked their spot in the semis. Forza going up against Nemesis. That was, again, another well-fought match. 13-11 for Nemesis, and Forza the rest of the way took it 13-16. Those are the two going to that part. And then it was Spirit and More Whiskey going up against each other. Oh my goodness, the first map, 22-19 on, you guessed it, Overpass.
Yeah, that was a barn burner.
Yeah, for Spirit. 13-5 for Whiskey on the second map, and then the final map, 13-6. Spirit move on. And then Astralis Women going up against 5 Bites, a 2-1, 13-7, 13-8, 13-11 for Astralis. So the thing about Qualifier 2 that was different from the first one was the decider. So because there were 5 spots open, I believe that was the rule.
That's correct. Yeah, there were 5 spots open.
Third place also got one.
Right.
So in the first qualifier, it mattered a little bit more. It didn't matter at all if you got to the semifinals and lost. In this one, it matters all the more. So in a weird twist of fate, if Nemesis goes up against another team, not Forza, and beats them and gets to the semifinal, they still have a second chance to qualify even if they lose. That's just an example. I'm throwing out a team name that I saw.
Right.
In the semifinals then is VP Angels going up against Forza and Spirit going up against Astralis. VP won their match quite convincing. 13-7, 13. They were not going to be denied. They qualify for
the Spirit Astralis game, though.
Yeah, Spirit said we're closing this down. 13-6, 13-11. So both VP Angel and Spirit automatically qualify. That pushes Forza and Astralis Women third place qualifier, the decider match. And Forza opened it up with a 13-9 win on Overpass. And then Astralis said, our turn now. And they won both the next maps 13-7 each. So it is Astralis that comes out as the final team to qualify. And that leaves us with X-Enigma Galaxy, Navi Javelins, Fearless Cheetah, Big Akipa, One Wing Gang, Impact, Gamer Legion Prism, Ents Athena, Guild Esports, VPA, Spirit FE, and Astralis Win.
Yeah.
12 teams.
Yeah. Now, I want to point out a tweet. It was made at me. I had a little tweet back on February the 12th. And I said if I had to pick an upset for each region, it would be, and I said wanted Goons Bandits would finally make it in NA, Sundogs would make it in SA, and Astralis would not make it in EU.
Yeah.
Now Steen, who's the director of communications, had a little bit of an issue with this. First off, he tweeted TF and then he retweeted with this. He said, "Look, Astralis is playing with 3 really young players who have never played Impact. I'd say it'd be quite an accomplishment to make it this season. Someday these young guns will win it, but it won't be a big upset if it takes 1 or 2 attempts to qualify.
Took them 3.
Yeah, 3, first off. Second off, I didn't even mean it like that. If he's saying 1 to 2 as in like they got to come back in season 6, like the expectation wasn't you don't make it in the first qualifier. The expectation is get to the league. Like that, as I think the expectation you have to hold against Astralis. So if Steen's saying, okay, we might need to qualify in the second qualifier, what's the big deal? I would say none. Like you and I aren't seeing eye to eye, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not, like Steen and I are missing the point.
Yeah.
My point is Astralis 100% have to be in the league.
Yeah.
Like
that's
and I thought there was a really good chance that they weren't going to be in the league.
And I mean, it was
had
close.
G2 not dissolved, they wouldn't be in the league. So I understand his point about young talent. He is 100% right. They do have some. Ismo is on that side. She is 16 years old. Like that. This is the youngest. But you do have some players with some experience. Josephine is in the side. She has a competitive experience. Granted, it's nowhere near the extent of others, like Aurora, who is, I believe Aurora is still on the side, right? Veteran player. You have a 26-year-old in Anya who's also in the side. Like,
right.
You have veteran leadership. You have the resources that other orgs do not have. Like, if Forza got into the league over Astralis, I would say Astralis need to be very upset at themselves because all the resources they scrapped a decent lineup to go full Danish to develop this. And I'm totally okay with that project if that's the way you want to go. I think it's a great initiative.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For
you're
Danish Counter-Strike.
You're sticking to what Astralis' ethos has been.
Exactly. Especially Danish women's Counter-Strike. But with the resources you do have as an organization, you have got to make the league. Like, you cannot not make the league, right? So, especially over other organizations that, whether it's Spirit and they missed the last season entirely, or it's Forza and they never been in it, or it was Partisan Red and they're on the outside, you know what I mean? So that was my point, is that I saw a scenario where Astralis actually don't make it at all. And that was my upset. Like, I didn't, that there was a chance that could happen. So if his point was, oh, it's going to take us to the second qualifier to qualify, I would say that's no big deal. I wouldn't have said that's a big deal.
You need to qualify for this season. That's
then I would
line,
say
right?
you gotta put better expectations on your team. So, but in the end, it's moot. They did qualify. They don't look great though. So it's one of these things where, yes, they're very young. I really want to say 2 of the players, like not like I really want to say like me, like
I don't know. I don't know. It's not whatever. Poppins is young.
Look, my point is
young
like
players, man. I'm excited.
My point is, he's counting Josephine as a young player, and like, yes, she's 20, but also like, I wouldn't look at Ramson and be like, oh, she's a young player that's developing. Like, she's been competitive for years. You know what I mean? Like, there's expectation that comes with that. Now, I would say for Josephine, there's a little bit more expectation on her than the other 2.
Right.
So either way, this is certainly a lineup that can improve throughout the season because it's so young and they have to gel together and all that stuff. I can certainly see that where maybe they go 0-2, 0-3, and then they really start to storm teams and like really take it to them at the end of the season. Sure, great. If that's the case, I would say continue on with the project. But this team, if this team doesn't improve its form, it's an 0-6 team.
Yeah,
like that should be a concern. So, well, monitor it. You got to monitor it. You know what I mean, with youth, but still, yeah. Over to South America now, shall we? We go into South America for their qualifiers. A little bit of a much thinner field, and I'm kind of surprised because.
I mean, this is about the same amount of teams they qualify that go for it.
Yeah, but they get deeper teams in like the group stage of the Gamers Club's events, and these are free.
Yeah.
So it's like
Gamers Club versus Face It. One of those comfortability things, I guess.
But,
I don't know.
But still, man, guaranteed 6 weeks of play and guaranteed prize money over not guaranteed anything if you don't make it out of the group stage.
I'm 100% with you on it. It is what it is. We get as many teams as we get. So 8 teams. Do we want to name all 8 or?
Yes, W7M, Fagazino, Sundogs, Kaus, Divina, Todas Free Agent, Smoke Gaming, which is a new org,
Yep.
and No Tag Female were the 8 teams to compete. I'll do the round of 8.
Yep.
I'll let you have the rest. W7M 2-0 over Fagazino. That's kind of to be expected. Obviously, W7M, remember, had to pull out of last season. Now they're back.
Yep.
Kept trying to get in. Sundogs 2-0 over Kaus. Divina 2-0 over Todas Free Agent. Smoke 2-0 over No Tag. So all of the expected teams, the 3 orgs, made it to the semifinals. And Sundogs, which if you watch the Gamers Club's events, they're kind of consistently one of the 2 best pug teams
Right.
that have been around, and most consistent pug team in terms of roster. So I don't think it's a surprise that these were the 4 teams in the semifinals.
Well, and it, and honestly, it probably went exactly how you expected to. W7M going up against Sundog. I didn't expect this. A 13-0 and 13-5 for W7M to qualify. Then, of course, Divina going up against Gaming. 13-6, 16-14. So a bit closer on the second map, but Divina lock it in. So that roster that we mentioned at the start that got signed, they are qualified as well as W7. First go around, no worry about the second.
So second qualifier.
Yeah. 7 teams.
Smoke. Yep. Yeah.
We gained one along the way. There you go, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So all of the same, basically. Smoke got the bye. Kaus played Todas Free Agent. Caprivaras played Fagazino. Sundogs played, I think it's Genkid. But anyway, Genkid would take the game. Like, that's Sammy's Chroma duty. You remember, those are players who played on what was
Divina?
the team Bittner was a part of? No, the team Bittner was a part of in last season. You know what I'm talking about, though.
I kind of do.
The pug team in season 5. Oh God, or season 4. I mean, yeah, season 4. Yes, Kidis Grasa. So those are former Kidis Grasa members, right? Flyzine is also on this team. They 2-0'd Sundogs, 13-7, 13-5. So I was like, whoa, okay. So Caprivaras got by Fagazino 2-0. Caprivaras is a pretty decent side. Zan, Arquina. Remember Arquina, by the way? Former, I believe, MIBR. 11 was on this team. Also Kidis Grasa and Coldazina. So really, like, pretty half decent side there.
Yeah.
Kaus got by Todas Free Agent as well, 2-0. So that left Smoke versus Kaus, Caprivaras versus Genkid.
It's actually interesting. You say Caprivaras is in basic thing in Liquipedia. They're called Brazil Storm Female. Anyways, Smoke Gaming going up.
Oh yeah, Chaos. Yes, they got sponsored by Brazil Storm for the event. Yes, that's true.
So
that is actually true.
13-6 in the way of Chaos for first map, and then in Smoke Gaming they get 13-1, 13-11 to qualify. They get it on the second time of asking it, and then Brazil Storm going up against Genkid, and Genkid actually ended up winning this one, 16-13 on map 1, 13-6 in reply, and then a final 13-8 on Vertigo sends them in. So Arquinia, Coldazina, 11, Maru, and Zan have to wait, as well as the Chaos Squad. Lulu,
yeah.
Like, I'm Abijinx, Sololo.
Oh yeah, Abijinx, Lulu is on that side. Yeah, Solelo. Interestingly enough, the Smoke Gaming side, right? Cara di Banana, Kati. You remember these names, right? Remember Parabellum? And then remember the first Divina side before last season, but season 3 Divina side? Yeah. That's who that is. So Cara di Banana is back for another season. Best name in Brazil. Cara di Banana is back. But yeah, congrats to all the ladies. I was wrong yet again. I said Sundogs would make it. They don't. I'm 0 for 2. Let's go to NA Parks.
Yeah, you got an easy buy-in on NA. Let's be real. I do want to say, by the way.
I wouldn't say that.
They you know what? They fought hard. NA qualifier coming through then. The first one, we have 8 teams. Well, I guess you can go through the full listing on the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I'll do the quarterfinals again. So quarterfinals, Wonder Goods Bandits played Caffeines.
Caffeines.
Caffeines. Okay.
Like
I like
caffeine
it.
and
Oh,
fiends.
caffeines like fiends.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. That's clever. Um, so cleanup crew played Radiant Rebels. Nouns played Priority Doppler, and Coven played the Little Box. So the Little Box, by the way, they're back. They're back. Remember the Little Box?
For one qualifier.
For one qualifier, yeah. Bouchard, Smiley, Kimmy, Athena from remember Xset and
Yeah,
Valorant, and formerly of
Valorant talent. We can actually say that she has Valorant talent now. She does
yes,
desk stuff. She's an analyst.
yes. She's CS talent as well, by the way.
Does she do CS stuff still?
She did one event, and it was the Gamer Girl Pro Festival in Abu Dhabi back in 2019.
Yeah, that's too long
Okay.
ago. She's not CS talent anymore.
Listen, mate, give it to her. Anyway, also played on Silhouette, and I want to say maybe potentially Aino, if I remember correctly, back in 2019, 2020. Kionetta as well. Great to see. I mean, it's basically the old crew. You know, great to see him back.
They were just playing for fun. Actually,
it was really close too. By the way,
I forgot who I talked to in that squad, but they were just basically like, "Yeah, none of us have touched this game in like 6 months." But we were like, "It's a qualifier. We got nothing to lose. It's just gaming for fun."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they actually had to bring in a sub, I think, in the third game.
Somebody's game like died, or PC died. Something happened, and they had to bring in a sub, and then there were issues all around. And I mean, if you want to get into that, we can, because I'm a little upset by what happened there with the chat and everything, but I don't think it's worth really talking about.
No, I don't think it's worth
drama.
But either way, 13-11 to Coven, and then 13-9 to Little Box, and then 13-9 to Coven. Are you talking about the chat in the GG for All Discord?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I mean, I could go off on him if you want.
I don't.
You know me. I don't.
It's not really worth it to me.
Yeah, it's just
not. It's just
people being
it's
dicks.
Just people, yeah, it's just people being people, man, and the worst kind.
Anyways. Other quarterfinal. So Coven do get into semifinal. Other semifinal, Nouns versus Priority Doppler. 13-1, 13-9. It was really, really quick. And then you had Cleanup Crew versus Radiant Rebels. Rebels. Paula, Ari, Shelby, Scruft, and Bubsy. You remember some of these names, right?
There's a lot of names on this team.
Yeah, 16-2, 16-5 over a side that included BMAX, Nopka, Sunny PP, and Chance as well. So Cleanup Crew made it through, and then Wanted Goons, Bandits, and the team. I wanted them to qualify so bad. Vivid Dark, shout out to Vivid. Great. And shout out Tat as well, by the way. Great people, as well as Coffee was on the side. Thoria, you remember, is on the side. But it was Wanted Goons, Bandits, JD, Pippy Sippy, Reef, Mama Alien, and Tippy. 2-1, or I'm sorry, 2-0. Very close affair, but nonetheless into the. I should say not very close affair, because it was 13-1, 13-2.
That match was not close, Benny.
No, not at all. But into the semifinals.
Yeah, so Wanted Goons Bandits had to go up against Cleanup Crew, and Cleanup Crew took the first map 13-8. Wanted Goon Bandits replied with enthusiasm, I guess is the best I was going to say, emphatically replied 13-11, 13-5. So they qualify. And then Nouns went up against Coven, and this one was not even all 13-1 and then 13. No. It was a little bit closer. But yeah, Nouns brought that one over the line. So Wanted Goon Bandits and Nouns bring it over, and that is the two orgs that were kind of hunting getting in.
Yes. 2 points I want to make about this qualifier.
Yes.
Number one, Reef is back. Reef is an Impact. Like, I am so happy for Reef. Big friend of both of ours, by the way. And I couldn't be happier for her. I know she grinds a lot, you know. There's got a lot going on as well. So super happy for her. Also, it means JD's in the league, which means Parks, North America has 3 Aussies in the league, which is only going to continue to fuel my absolute anger at ESL.
Yeah, they're stealing
for giving
our jobs.
That region nothing.
They're stealing our jobs, Benny. We gotta get rid of them.
We are going to build a wall. We're going to make Australia pay for that wall.
Forget the wall.
Even though
We'll
there's
build a
no
great.
border
We're
between
gonna
us
build
and
a
Aussie.
great net across the
Yeah,
nation,
yeah, there
and
you
just
go.
they
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
They'll have to fly, and when they fly, we'll extend the net higher.
So anyway, it's like, mate, how many more, like, how much more
Every
ammunition do I
single
need to
team
get
should have
armed
an
with?
Aussie on it. I think at this
But
point,
how
like
much more ammunition do I need to get armed with before ESL finally get it? You know what I mean? Like, I
they
don't
never
know. I don't
will.
think they will.
Why
But
would they
no, I
ever
don't think they will.
care? Why would they ever care? It is not their
Uh,
job. Let's be
I mean,
real. The ones who make the
yeah,
decisions do not care.
it's the Saudis. I'm surprised they cared enough to give us a season 5 and 6. To be honest with you.
Oh, God,
Anyway,
okay.
moving on to the
We are
second
getting
qualifier.
blacklisted. Getting blacklisted.
I don't care, man.
I'm trying to
So
have a career here, at least. Please.
that's true. Okay, that's gonna be our first edit ever out of the podcast.
I'm not editing it out. You can die on your own hill.
That's fine.
Personally, I love Saudi Arabia.
Oh God. Into the second qualifier, right? So 5 teams this time:
Yeah.
Coven, Priority Doppler, Caffeines, and Cleanup Crew and Radiant Rebel.
Rebels.
Radiant Rebels. That's a tongue twister, man. I'm tripping up all over it.
Too much Valorant for you, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a rank.
We only had one quarterfinal matchup, and that was Caffeines versus Priority Doppler. Priority Doppler actually won it 16-13. Our map won, I should say, and then Caffeines won the second map 13-7. And then Caffeines were given the fourth walkover, the forfeit win, because Priority
Ancient
Doppler
skins were being used.
Yep,
and
they
Priority
violated
Doppler
the
didn't
Agent
know.
Skins rule. So guys, please, I just want to say this, right? Because I know there was a bit of a discussion on it in Discord. It wasn't a huge argument.
Oh, there was
but
plenty more in the server chat that happened.
All I would say is, how many times, right? Remember season 1 and season 2 when we had stream violations? Now we have Agent Skin violations. Then, but like, do yourself a favor, okay? Because nobody seems to want to be able to do this, okay?
Yeah.
The 4 rule books that ESL has combined are about 70 pages, okay? Do a little bit of freaking reading, guys, okay? You're signing up for a league. You probably should read the rule book and know what's allowed and what's not allowed. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's on the players for not knowing. A lot of players are like, oh, this is the first time we played competitively and blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Let this be a lesson. Read the rule book, please. Okay?
And there's a message that Faceit gives it's an auto message at the start.
Yeah.
Make sure you do not have character skins on. Make sure you have default skins. Otherwise, you are subject to be forfeited. This is not a new rule. This is ever since Faceit has become the platform, it's been a thing. And I understand new players.
This has been a rule since Agent Skins have been introduced to the game.
Well, and this is one of the things with you're right, but one of the things is with ESEA, it was an automatic thing of like you could not join the server unless you didn't have your Agent Skins equipped. That's not the same thing with Faceit. It's not the same thing with CS2.
It's almost like we should have just stayed on ESEA.
It's almost as if like, yeah, we should have just had a specifically competitive platform and a specifically hug
platform.
platform. But you know what? Whatever. It's not on me. I'm not the one who has. Anyways, with Priority Doppler going away, and losing on forfeit, we go to the semifinals, and for a spot is Coven versus Caffeines.
I wanted Caffeines to win this so bad.
After
what happened in qualifier 1.
It did not go well for them, unfortunately. 13-1 on Anubis and a 13-10 on Inferno for Coven to take the 2-0. And I'll be honest, like, I really don't like the way this bracket worked out either, because I look at that and I go, I think the other semifinals should have been both teams qualifying. Just looking at the wise, Cleanup Crew versus Radiant Rebels, it was not competitive at all this time around. First time around, it was much more. First qualifier was much more competitive. Same result. Cleanup Crew beat them the first time around. They beat them this time around as well. 13-5, 13-1. So Cleanup Crew and Coven qualify. They're the final 2 teams. Yeah. So that's the 8 teams. The 8 teams are FlyQuest Red, Shimmer, Limitless Angels, who by the way got signed. By the way, I don't think we made that announcement. I think that happened recently as well. The Tsunami
Limitless
Sirens,
Angels. Oh, yes.
Lotus got signed. They're now Limitless Angels.
Was that official? Was that made official?
Yep, that's an official.
Oh,
thing.
yes. Okay.
And of course Karma.
Shout out Limitless, by the way. Fun, very established org in NA.
Yeah, very
It's
good
great
org.
to see him.
They've
It's
done,
great to see him
they
step
have a
into
lot.
the
How
Impact scene.
many they have? I want to say 4 women streamers as well. Like Vivid, I believe Vivid's a Limitless streamer. Heavenly
Yep.
Peach is a Limitless streamer. Ducky Peak is a Limitless streamer, and there's one more I'm forgetting. I feel like there's one more. I might be wrong.
I can't remember.
I know
But
those 3 for sure. I know those
How does
3
it
for
feel
sure.
if you're Viv and you've competed and you didn't qualify and Limitless did, and you'd be like, guys, what the hell?
I mean,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
pay to win. Smile.
yeah.
Anyways, Karma, Bandits, Downs, Coven, Clean Crew. Yeah, and I mean, there's one thing, because Gonzalo pointed at something out. It's nearly a year to the day, since Paula last played in Impact. You have to remember she didn't participate last year at all. She played in Katowice, and that was it. And Shelby's qualified now for, again, on a new, I forget, I think it was one of the Coven players. It's the first time they've played since season 1, I want to say, was like the last time. I forget which one it was. Maybe it was Jundaya.
Might have been Jundaya, actually. It's a good shout.
Like...
I saw this tweet. It
was Gonzalo who tweeted.
Was it Gonzalo? Oh, yeah, it was Gonzalo that tweeted it.
He keeps up. Gonko.
Yeah, it might have been Jundaya. It could have been Jaylee as well, by the way.
It was Jaylee.
Gonzalo.
Jaylee is returning to the league after 2 years having played during.
Yes.
I'm gonna check which.
This memory still ticks, mate.
I was close.
Beer brew here.
Yeah, okay. So Jaylee played on Hot Flash. With
yes.
Sunny P,
Oh
Shit
God,
Walker,
what a throwback!
Summer, and Alex.
What a throwback,
I mean,
mate.
Yeah, little boxes here. Well, Bouchard, Smiley, Sapphire, Kimmy, Coach, and I mean, Mads was on Please Send Help. Tourmaline existed. Jundaya was on Tourmaline.
Yeah, oh my God.
Wait, Jundaya was on Tourmaline.
Tourmaline.
Jundaya is returning as well. I was right. She was in season 1.
Yep.
I feel vindicated.
There you go.
There was 2 Peruvian teams. Wild.
Yeah, remember?
Wild times, man.
Wild times. Those are the glory days.
The glory days of Peruvian CS.
Yeah.
All right.
I miss those players. They're so kind, and they played like They pick up pugs with like NA, and
I mean, we still occasionally see Namita and Barbuja. Those are the 2 names that pick out to me of the 10 that are.
Yes. So.
Pretty interesting. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Look back, I guess.
Yeah, reminiscing. That's what we do best here on this pod.
Pippi Sippy is on. Sorry, I'm just looking at roster now. Pippi Sippy was on Slay, Blender, and Vanessa.
Yeah.
And now Vanessa's on. Playing with
FlyQuest Red.
Playing with friends on FlyQuest Red. Everybody on the FlyQuest Red broadcast has to keep saying, because we don't actually know if they're signed or not. They probably are at this point signed, but
we know.
Can't officially say anything. We have to wait until the start of the season. It's like
I don't know why. Like, come on, mate. Like, come on.
Surprise.
It's a public secret, you know.
Yeah, but if you're just tuning in, you can be like, oh my God, they're just best friends. That's so cute. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so. Oh, like.
Oh, it's very.
Are you gonna do like a last minute change to get rid of Vanessa and like replace her with Olga or something? Like, is this what's gonna happen?
No.
Like, is that why they're waiting?
Vanessa.
Is that why they're waiting?
Yeah.
Like, conspiracy theory. We're just gonna get rid of her last day. Thanks for your service. Goodbye. Thanks for the 3 months.
It's gonna be WWE style. We wish you well on all your future endeavors.
All right. Well, we are out of things to talk about on that front. We're on the outs here. Benny,
yep.
You mentioned to me earlier, what are you watching for these next 2 weeks?
So just to set the tone, I actually haven't told Parks what I'm about to say. So the reaction you're gonna get is the raw reaction.
I'm scared. I'm so scared. I've been nervous ever since.
I'm gonna be watching you and Apples and Pip and Floofies and Awesome in season 5, because I'm gonna take a step away from commentating. I'm gonna step away from commentating.
Damn.
Yeah, I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I got a lot that I'm battling with. And I got a lot that I just need to like sort out in my life right now. And commentating is not, it's just taking time away from sorting that out. So
I feel you on that.
is BFI going to end? No,
No.
we're still going to do BFI. I'm still going to be watching the games. It, am I going to still do the Aussie tournaments? Probably.
You want to
I'll
put
do at
yourself through
least them.
that?
What'd you say?
You're gonna put yourself through that?
I mean, who else do they have? Like they might have some that step up, like Joshin and all them. Great dude. But, you
At
know,
some point, somebody else needs to step up other than us, right? That's kind
yes,
of the
I
next
think
up
so.
thing.
The thing about the Aussie tournaments is what time does it actually take away except for Friday night where I just go to bed early? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really that's
Yeah,
not in the way.
if it
Like
doesn't throw off
Wednesday
your sleep
nights, Thursday
schedule,
nights,
yeah,
Monday nights, Saturdays, Sundays, like they're in the way right now.
yeah,
So I feel very disconnected from a lot of things. It's affecting work, it's affecting commentating, it's affecting streaming, it's affecting me consistently going to the gym. So I need to really work on sorting myself out. So for the time being, I'm not actually commentating the one this weekend, the Aussie tournament this week. I'm out of town, but whatchamacallit, I plan to do the 2 ones that conclude the winter season, and then I don't know if I'll do any more after that. I might not. But I'm probably not going to apply to do season 5 with you guys.
yeah,
I'm probably not going to do. Not that I was doing any of the cash cups for the past half a year, besides the Aussie ones, but
yeah. I
anything like
mean,
that, I'm stepping away for a considerable amount of time. So it sucks because I do love it, but like the passion to commentate isn't
enough.
as bright a flame,
Yeah,
isn't as strong a flame, and I have to kind of refine that before I commit myself to anything further. I think that's the other thing. So,
I feel you.
um, I'll be watching you guys kill it in season 5.
That
I
is,
think that's what I'm going to be
I
watching.
do appreciate that a lot, man. And we'll talk afterwards, or probably for a few minutes. But hey, man,
Yeah.
well wishes to you, and I know you'll figure it out. You always do. You got time. You're an old
Oh, I
man.
don't always.
You got time.
That's a lie.
You
That's
got
cap.
time.
Yeah, I'm giving myself more time.
Good.
Just to put it,
Good.
just to put a cherry on top of it, real, because I know we do have to go soon. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that I'm also trying to do a lot. Like, you know, I'm trying to take care of my parents. I'm trying to become a better trader. I'm trying to educate myself more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself back into the job market. I like my current job a lot, actually, but
Yeah.
it's something where it's like, can I find more value for myself in the job market
Yeah.
currently? You know what I mean?
Somewhere
Like,
work that's closer to you. Somewhere that pays you
or,
more
right,
money.
or it's fully remote, or the pay is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
100%.
something like all of that. So I'm trying to build up streaming and whatnot. So it's going to be one of these things where I'm stretched too thin, and like I said, I haven't had the same fiery burning passion for commentary
Yeah.
that I held for 4 years. So it's like I need to refine that before I can fully throw myself into it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do the job that I know I can do
Yeah.
as good as I can do it,
Yeah.
and that would be a disservice to everybody watching. So I'm going to go to Frag. If they offer me to commentate there, I might pick up the
You
mic
could just
because
pick up the mic
you're
regardless.
there.
Take it out of
Yeah,
Marky's
exactly.
hands and just say it's my turn now, kid. Do it.
Yeah, but
What's he gonna say?
it's one of these things where it's like, am I going to throw myself on the FlyQuest games? Probably not. I'm not going to apply for season 5, and I'm probably going to take some considerable time off. So
Okay.
that's it for me. Parks, what are you watching?
I'm watching lots of games. I mean, FlyQuest Red, as you mentioned, I'm been getting into a lot of those matches.
You're killing it there,
We're
man.
doing all right.
You're
We're doing all
great.
right. I finally won a match as a caster. It took me 4 matches. They are 1-4 when I'm on the cast.
My brother.
Simply, yeah.
One thing I learned from the first season I started commentating is never keep a win-loss record.
I think it's really funny.
Never
keep
keep
it's
a
really
win-loss
funny.
record.
Keeping up to date as well with the Shimmer Ladies. I mean, we're going to Fragadelphia. We got that all put together.
Yeah.
26-hour, the 26-hour not subathon, 26-hour because I had my birthday stream 24 hours. I went 26 because I did the ending of qualifying number 2. So that raised a little bit of money as well. So it's all slowly kind of slowly paying off what I put in and everything like that. Getting ready for season 5 because now with you gone, I've got to find another solid rock to kind of take some of the broadcasts as well with because I'm not gonna be I can guarantee you I will not be behind the behind the chair.
You're not gonna Will English it?
No, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. I could not handle that, especially with the whole
Just for the
camera
people
thing.
for the reference, he sometimes actually casts and produces
Yeah,
the
I
stream
can't do that. I
as
cannot do
well.
that. What I will say is I'm not going to be behind the bench for Shimmer. Like they're getting a coach, like an actual coach.
Yes.
Not me. So
I'm no leaks, obviously, but
no,
still,
no,
I'm excited for y'all.
nothing
I'm
yet.
excited for y'all.
But we've got an actual coach, and that means that my kind of priority towards taking care of them is a bit less so. They've got somebody else there to kind of help guide them and get what they help them with what they need in server, where I'm better at taking care of stuff outside the server. So that lessens the load and means that I can freely take care of the production side, because I was very, very worried actually, that if because there was a point where it was looking like I was going to be the coach for them, because they were just like, we just need somebody to do this and this, and I went, I mean, I can try, but it's not something I've ever actually done before. No, the decision was, let's go get somebody, and they're pretty close on it at this point, and we'll probably have an announcement before the start of the season. Rosters at that point will all be locked in and everything, and we'll be good to go at that point. And I will be back basically doing caster stuff, and I probably we'll see what happens org wise, but it's all kind of hands off for me right now, which is good. It gives me more time to do other stuff like LCA, like ESL Impact stuff, like my long streams, like all this cool stuff that's already starting to happen. There's a lot of stuff happening, Benny. I'm excited. I'm an excited man. All right, but that is the end of the episode. And with that, we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time, which would be roughly around the time. I think that'll be the first week of games. We'll get to pre-show.
Yeah, we're gonna
We'll have to do pre-show.
We'll do something for y'all. Yeah,
for sure.
So.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you made it this far, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. But for now,